Hi everyone. So as a part of our Liquibase tutorial series, in last two lectures, we learned how to install Liquibase in our Windows system, right? And then we were able to configure Liquibase maven project structure, right? We were able to set up our POM file, right? And we were able to do a sample deployment using Liquibase and Postgres database, right? Now, in this lecture, we will learn about change sets, right? How to create different objects using Liquibase, okay, in database. So let's go in Liquibase documentation, okay. So once you go in Liquibase documentation, you have to go in this change types. Okay, so let's expand change types. So in that there is entities. So if you click on entities, right? So you will see change types, right? So what is change type, right? So a change type is a database independent XML, YAML, JSON formatted change, right? That you can specify to update your database with Liquibase, right? So you can use change type, change set type, XML, YAML, or JSON or SQL also, right? So there are four ways to create change sets using Liquibase, right? So if you use XML, YAML, and JSON, the thing is you don't need, you can deploy in any other database as well. Your same database code you can deploy in other database as well, right? So if you write in SQL, then you have to rewrite your code according to the other database SQL, right? So this is the advantage of writing in using XML in Liquibase. Okay. So now let's check the entity, right? So in entity table, you can see you have entity. Those are table, column, right? Index, views, procedures. So these are the objects you can create on database, right? And this is create add, right? So you can create table, you can drop table, you can change the tables, right? You can rename table. So for all these operations, Liquibase has given us some commands, okay, some basic format for change set which we can use to create our change set in Liquibase, okay. So let's check that this table. So table is there, column, index, view, procedure, sequence, right? Function, package, synonym, and triggers are there, right? And you can see after function this pro. That means function, package, synonym, and triggers are in licensed version of Liquibase, right? But still you can use SQL version, you can use SQL tag to create functions, package, synonyms, and triggers as well, which I will show you in upcoming lectures. Okay. Now there is constants. You can also work on constant using Liquibase, right? You can create primary key, right? Foreign key, and so there is add constant, enable constant, drop constant, disable constant, right? Then there is a default value. There is a foreign key constant, not null constant, primary key constant, and unique key constant, right? Then there is a process of loading the data, right? So you can insert data using Liquibase, load data, load update data, delete, right? Merge column. You can also update data, right? And there are some miscellaneous files, right? So let's go in, go inside the table, create table, right? So once you click on this create table link, right? So it will take you to the create table, documentation for Liquibase, right? So you can just, it's a running type, run Liquibase update, right? There is a sample change set added here, right, to create table, right? So similar thing we have seen already. So there is change set ID, there's author name, create table, then table name, right? Table name equals to whatever table you want to create, and there are columns to add into that table, right? And we are closing change set, right? So this is a sample change set to create table, right? There is another change set example also, right? So these are XML examples, right? So if you scroll down, right, so you will see that descriptions of each, descriptions of each thing which is used here, like catalog, remark, schema name, right? So all the descriptions are there, right? And then if you scroll down, right, so you see there's a SQL example of creating a table, right? And similarly you have JSON example of creating a chain set, right, for creating table, YAML example. Then you have JSON example, right, for creating table chain set. And then you have XML example, right? So in XML example, this no top metadata is common in all the XML file, right? So this is setting the XML standard, right? And then from here your change sets starts, right? So here it is, there is your XML change set, right? Create table, right? So you can always use any of these four formats, right, to create your Liquibase change set. We are going to use mostly XML and SQL. Okay. And below that you can see database support. You can see these many database are supported for Liquibase, and there are around 18 database, right? And all major database are there: Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, Ingress, right? Sybase, right? Snowflake, SQL Server, SQLite, right? Google BigQuery. So so there are, most of the famous databases are covered under Liquibase, right? So you can always use this change set document, right, to take the sample change set structure and create your change set, right? So you can see in the left side, there is for everything there is change set, right? For alter sequence, for create function, right? For creating index, so there is a change set, right? So obviously you have all the samples already added here. So you just have to go in XML, you have to copy this change set, and you can create your change set, right? Now let's go back to our project which we created last time. So in document we have this Postgres Liquibase, that is our Liquibase folder no project, and we have this driver PostgreSQL JDBC driver. Let's go in PostgreSQL Liquibase. Then we had this POM file, right? So we had this POM file which we set up, right? And our version is right now 1.000, right? Snapshot version, right? So we did a deployment, and this was our POM setup, right? So we had added dependencies in the POM, right? All the required dependencies, right? And then let's go inside our change log. So the structure is src main, then java, right, operations, so change log. So from here our change log starts. So we had created last time the folder release 1.000, right? And we had master change log where we were calling this release 1.000, and in release 1.000 we had one master call, and then we had one public changelog.table call where we had created one table, right? So let's check that. So this was the table, right? Department table we had created, right? So let's go and check in our public schema, right? And we used employee database. So let's expand our PG admin, go in employee database. So in public schema, we had created one table, right? So department table is there. And apart from that, there are two Liquibase log table, right? So let's check all these three first. So let me make a connection from here, and let me just query select star from department. Okay. So department table, just a structure was created. There was no data loaded, right? And there were two more table, database change log, right? When we did the first deployment. So database change log, right? This is the table, this is the Liquibase log table which keeps tracks of all the deployment, right? So we had this create department table change set, right, which is this one ID, right? And then we have author, right, which is this one author, right? And then we have file name, right? File name is release folder 1.00, and dash slash public changelog table release, right? Which is this one, right? This file is getting called, right? Under it is in under release folder, right? And then we have date when we executed, order executed, so one, right? And execution type, it was executed, right? There are different execution type, I will explain in later. And then this is the unique id, right? Unique id for each change set. There is a description, so we created table, right? And there is deployment id, right? So there is just one row in our database change log right now, right? And there is one more table which is about the lock, right? So database change log lock, right? Which gets locked when we do deployment, and which gets released, log gets released when a deployment is done. So by default, it's false. When deployment will start, it will mark as true, and it will be kept mark as true until deployment gets finished. As soon as once deployment gets finished, it will again marked as false, right? So now let's go back, right? Now we are going to create a table and views. So department table we have already created, right? So now we have to create employee table, and we have to create department and employee views in this app schema based on this department and employee table. Okay. So I'll do the demo in front of you. Okay. So let's go in change log, and let's consider that let's create a new folder where we are doing second release. Okay. So give the name as uh, what name you will give. So give the name as release. Sorry, let me go back. So give the name as release 1.0, 1.0, right? So suppose this is our second release. So first release was this is our second release. We are incrementing the third number, right? And enter, right? So and then let's go inside here. Let's change the this also, the release of master. So let it make everything as 1.0, so that all our files and folders structures are in sync, right? So let's make it 1.0, 1.0 master, 1.0, 1.0 changelog master. So this is master, and this will have our change set, right? So we have table. We also need to create view. So let's copy this one and create one more, and just rename this as view. Okay. So version will be 1.0, 1.0, and instead of tables, we'll keep it as views. You can keep all table and views in same file also, but I want to separate tables and views, okay, from each other. So I created two file, and this is the master which will call these two, right? So let's go inside that and first configure this to change set. Okay, so it has just one call right now. So first it will be 1.0, right? So this will be for table, right? And let's make a call for view. So just copy this, right? Paste this and align it together, right? And this is for views. So just write it here, views, right? And version will be same, right? So all the both files we called here in our master, just save it. Okay, so it is saved, right? Now let's edit, master is edited. We called these two change set. Now let's add change set. Okay, so let's go in table and click on edit, right? So we already have department table created, right? So let's create the employee table, right? So we can use same structure. So we can use employee, make it as employee table. Version will be 1.0, 1.0. Table name is EMP, right? And schema public. In public schema only we want to create, right? Same, we have department EMP ID, EMP name, and then we have EMP role, right? That was our third column, right? We will also create a department ID column in this, right? Later we'll set up primary and foreign key relationship, right? So this is department ID, right? So we have four column, right? Now let's give grant here. So let's give grant, right? So our employee table is change set is ready, right? So we have ID, we have author, and we have all the structure of employee, and we have given grant. Just save it. Okay. Now let's go and create views. Okay. So click on edit, and now we need a structure to create view, right? So what is our view name? First view name is department underscore view, right? That is our view name, department underscore view, right? So we'll take the structure from here. Okay, let's go in documentation page, and let's click on this create view. Okay, so once you can go in create view, so you are on create view doc page. Just scroll down, go in XML, okay, and then copy this change set, okay, and let's use it here, okay. So let me just paste it here, okay. So our author is case of 321. So author will be this one. Our what will be our ID? Create view, right? So let's just copy here. So ID will be create department view, remove table, right? Create department view 1.0, 1.0. That is our version, right? For view. Here we can remove this catalog encoding, full definitions, right? Remark, etc. because these are optionals. Okay. So we can keep replace exist as true, right? So it will replace if already view is created. Schema will be app schema, right? In app schema we want to create view name will be department view, right? So DEPT view. So this is our view name, right? Right. So let's align it properly. So let me take it in one line, all the headers, right? And then we'll write SQL for view, right? So let me take all these headers in one line. Okay, so from here I'll take it down. So this is our SQL, right? And here this is closing of create view tag, right? And here we'll write our query. So what is our query for view? Select star from department, right? Select star from department, all the department. So this should create a view for us, right? We don't need any where clause. So this is our view for department, right? So our department view is ready, right? Now let's copy this and create our employee view as well. So let me just paste it here, and this is our employee view. So I'll make it name as employee, right? Create employee view, version will be 1010, and replace exist true schema app, right? Name would be employee view here, right? Employee view, and we are selecting from employee table in this, right? So our two change set are ready. Create department view, create employee view, right? Let's remove this first one, which is not required. Okay. So I think our no department and employee views change set is ready. Just click on save. Okay, so change sets are ready, right? Both change sets are ready. Table change set is ready. View change set are ready. It has been configured in this master. Now we have to call this master, right? Where in this outside master change log, the main master change log, right? So let's just click on edit, and here we have just called the release 1.000. So let's call our new release. So just copy this, okay, and paste it here, and our next release is 1.0 1.0 change log release master name is 1.0 1.0, right? True. Just click on save, right? So I think your master change log is ready, right? Now we can run our Liquibase command to release our release underscore 1.0 1.0. So as soon as your all the change sets are ready, right? So open your PowerShell, open your Windows PowerShell, right? And now you have to run the command. Let me enlarge it little bit. Okay. So first we have to do cd, right, to this path, our changelog path, and slash enter, right? So now you can see we are in our changelog path. Then we have to run our liquibase command, right? So our liquibase command, let's copy from our liquibase command file, right? So this is the liquibase command which we have to run. So just run this liquibase command. Okay. So command is same, right? So we have liquibase, then we have changelog file, master changelog XML. We have username, postgres, password, local. We are giving URL of employee database, right? We are using employee database, driver or postgresql driver, class path, path of the driver, JDBC driver, right? Context, dev local, and log level info update. Just do enter, right? Now let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see it has run three change set, right? And previously there was one change set which had run, right? So total change set are four, and like update command completed successfully, right? So now let's go back and check in our table, right? So let's refresh this table section first. So now you can see we have employee table created here, right? Let's go back in app schema and check the views, right? So let's refresh this view section. So you can see we have two views also created, department view, employee view, right? And we can also check logs, right? So let's check in this table, change log. So you can see we have four rows now, right? So first row is about the previous one, create department table, right? Previous release, which has release as 1.0.0, and these three are part of our second release, employee table, create department view, create employee view, right? And you can see the file names, respective file names are there, right? So you can see for table it is 1.0.1.0 release, table release, right? And then view release, and view release is called twice, right? For each change set, right? Create department and create employee view, right? And order, you can see 2 3 4 order of execution, right? This is the unique ID for each, right? Description, and this is the liquibase, right? And deployment ID, right? So you can see how easily we using liquibase, how we can create tables and views and other objects, right? So I think that's it from this lecture, guys. In the next lecture, we will learn creating constants on Liquibase, right? Using Liquibase on Postgres database. Okay, we'll learn more. We'll learn more about Liquibase, right? In the next lecture. If you guys like this lecture, please subscribe my channel. Thank you, guys.